Sometimes in the field, you can feel forgotten. Like that grunt work you're doing right now doesn't matter. That nobody cares about your dream. And then you start to doubt yourself. All it takes is just one mirror reflecting back your potential to make a shift. I had that. I wish that for you if you're out there listening in the field right now. Alberto Gomez is one of those believers, and he's a visionary. At first take, you might not think he understands the blue collar experience, but he does, and he respects it. He grew up with it. Now he's leading an organization, Astra Service Partners. Let's hear about the vision he holds for field technicians. Alberto, thanks for joining me today, man.
It's great to see you, man.
So, stuck in the field with Rob Stuckey. Why? What the hell, man? You green lighted this whole operation right here. This podcast was an idea that you came up with, and you were like, "Yeah, let's go."
Yeah, look, I think it all starts with we're in the people business. We're not in the HVAC business. We're not in the refrigeration business. We're not in the plumbing business. We don't manufacture widgets. We don't have IP. We don't have anything but our people. And the jobs are tough, man. Like the magic happens in really hard spots. When it's really hot, when it's really cold, when it's raining, when it's 2 a.m. and you get a phone call. And this business means nothing without the stories of our people. So I thought people should hear that.
You felt this was the best way?
Yes, I thought it was the best way because I think these are things that people don't publicly talk about. People don't carve out the time to address these things and to like actually get the real, like raw, vulnerable stories out there. So I'm like, let's do it.
Why am I hosting this podcast? Which, by the way, it's been great. It's been great. It's the stories that I'm uncovering with the different people, the different spaces, both male and female in this industry, and it's just been beautiful. So thank you. But why me?
You're welcome. It all starts at day one. I feel like I'm a pretty good read of character, and the first time I met you, I'm like, he's one of my people, or I'm one of his people, however you want to look at it. I saw the spark in your eye, and you leaned into it. I thought that was awesome. And then our relationship evolved, the business evolved, and I've met really smart people in my life. I've met very qualified people in my life. I've met very privileged people in my life. I've met very not so privileged people in my life. I met not so smart people in my life. The common theme between the people I gravitate towards and the people that I don't are the people who are gonna show up in the dungeon. Not once, not twice, but willingly and openly go into the dungeon. There was a level of grit. I'm like, I'll trust this guy to go to war with me. I trust this guy if something happens to me that like my family can call him. It's like, those are the kind of people I want to surround myself. And that's the kind of company I want us to build. People who are very committed to the mission, knowingly that the mission is really hard. And there is equally number of shitty days as there are equally number of great days. And you hope that the number of great days outweighs the number of poor days out there. But the job's tough. And God, you're taking a hell of a beating over the last 3 years, and you're still here swinging.
Yeah, I've had my teeth kicked in many times. Who decides who gets that shot?
The ecosystem decides who gets the shot. I don't think there's a single person. In our organization, the network has to buy in to people. Are you the leader people want to be surrounded with? Are you the peer people want to have as a peer? Are you the boss people want to have, etc.? Culture carriers typically rise to the top of that. But being a culture carrier alone doesn't cut it. People, I think, want to be led and want to be part of something where they feel safe. You create a sense of safety for people. Your attitude, always upbeat. I've seen you in really bad situations and you're never down. It's like, hey, pounding the table, we're gonna keep moving forward. Your humbleness to be able to raise your hand and say, I'm leading this and I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm okay admitting that. Vulnerability to like show that you do have imposter syndrome. I think every great leader has imposter syndrome because we're not perfect. And last but not least, it's like you're gonna go deep. And when it hurts, you're gonna go deeper. And when it hurts even more, you're gonna go even deeper. And I know that in the back of your mind, you're a survivor, man. You know. I know from knowing you, it's like I'll throw anything at you. You're gonna survive. You're not gonna die in the pursuit of something. You're likely gonna come out a different person. Hopefully a better person.
Absolutely. I appreciate the kind words and the reflection. I mean, that's good. As we move forward, and as you meet new people, the new technicians you come across, what are you looking for out there? Who are you giving that to? What are you telling them right now?
The answer is actually really simple. I'm looking for people that's not about them. They're here to serve a mission. The mission is 9 times out of 10 the team. Number two, the people who are not here for the praise, for the money, for the titles, for the Instagram posts that they're gonna make about how great they are. But the people who are in it because they have a passion to pursue greatness, whatever that greatness means to them. Typically, people at work in our type of work, you have to have a lot of passion to be really technical, to have a craft. You spend decades fine-tuning a craft, and you're never quite there. You can't do that without passion. Nobody does this for the money, for a paycheck. Some people may, but those people never become great. Those people never become leaders of organizations that go on to become great. So, bigger than yourself, the team, the mission, passion for the craft. I think you definitely have that. And then people that are out there that have that, you can see it, you can sense it. They're self-taught, they ask for help, they reach out, they're constantly want more challenges. And then the last thing is the people that don't leave until the job is done and it's done right. You can always tell. You walk around the field, it's like who's cutting corners here, who's not cleaning up, who's hoping the customer doesn't see that, versus who's here early, prepping, who's here late, cleaning up, who's here there to ensure that they met the customer and they like shook the customer's hand and showed how great it is what they did. Or even better, who will do the right things when nobody's looking?
Yeah.
Because many times there's nobody out there.
Yeah.
But it's like when you walk out of the job site, it's like you look at that and you're like, wow, okay, I feel proud about that, and you go home. This is not just conceptual for me. Most people don't know this about me, but my dad worked in the field. And I used to go in the field with him on the weekends because he worked 7 days a week. And we used to have to get off a car. We didn't have enough money to have a nice car, so we used to have to park on the side of the mountain. And we would climb for probably an hour, hour and a half walking. He used to carry tools, and he used to climb on towers, telecommunication towers. We were there all day. And then when he was done, we had to rush back before it got dark because we didn't have anything. We didn't have cell phones, no flashlights, no anything. And I always remember he used to look back and say, this is what good looks like. People who are technical, people who have a passion for doing the right stuff, those are the people you want to bet on. They will not let customers down. They will not let the team down. They will not let themselves down. They will work tirelessly to make sure the job's done right, representing the mission, and ultimately doing it for something much bigger than themselves. You can spot those people. I see it every time I go in the field.
Can you see it before you even have a conversation?
100%. It's very easy. Walk to a job site. What's the person doing? Are they hanging out? Are they on their phone? Are they doing anything but working? Are they working without trying to draw any attention to themselves? Are they focused on doing the thing right? How are they dressed? Do they look like they didn't even shower this morning, or do they look like they showered and they got ready to come to work to look like a good professional? How are their tools? Are the tools dirty? Are the tools clean? Is the work area where they're at clean? Do they take pride in what they're doing? Before I even walk into a job site, actually, the first thing I look at is the van.
The van. Yeah, I was getting ready to
How's
say.
that van look?
That's their workspace.
Is
That's
that
their
van
office.
is that van dirty? Has it not been washed? Has it been crashed? Does it have any scratches? Do you look through the window and you see a million things there thrown there? Or is it clean? Is it parked correctly? Is it taken care of like this is a representation of who they are? 9 times out of 10. You see those things and you talk to someone,
Tells a story, doesn't it?
tells a story. The guy who you are an apprentice for is a great example of that. You see him, you look at his van, you look at his work, you look at his job site, you talk to him. Every time I got in the field and I'd seen Kenny, I had to go interrupt him because he was working. He wasn't there to impress me or to impress anyone. He was there to do a great job for the customer.
Yeah.
Those guys are out there. Before he said one word,
Love the perspective. But there's some good techs out there that don't have it all together. They've got their money problems. They might have some family problems, health problems, things out there that might stand in the way for them to take that next step. How we take care of those guys? How are we working with that?
we start by creating an environment where those people can actually become better versions of themselves. Remove any roadblocks that could be in the middle of that. Corporate politics, lack of resources, whatever. But at the end of the day, you got to do the work deep down inside. What most people that look at me, that see me sitting here, don't realize is that I've been in those shoes. I don't hear those stories. I don't conceptually think about them or academically wrap my head around them. I worked night shift, 1 p.m. to 4 a.m. every single day with every other Sunday off for a minimum wage job. I wasn't making any money. I was living paycheck to paycheck. I had no idea how I was going to live another month to survive. And talk about working in terrible conditions. I don't know if you ever worked 1 p.m. to 4 a.m. every day with two Sundays off every month. It's rough. Many of our guys in the field have it just as rough or rougher, right? I can relate to that because I've been there and walked in those shoes. I spent 2/3 of my life with no money, with no anything, with a million problems, health problems. Myself, you know, about my own personal health problems, even as of recent, right? I've been in those shoes, so I'm very empathetic to that reality. And I also would challenge people to say, are you chopping wood? Are you showing up when every odd stacked against you? Are you making the conscious choice in the morning to get up and swing as hard as you can, one day at a time? This is not conceptual. I lived it. Nobody in a million years, if you knew where I grew up and where my family is or whatever, would imagine I'm sitting here now doing this. No odds would have bet against that. Didn't go to an Ivy League school, didn't go to a great education, like did not have connections, started working a blue collar job on night shift right out of school when everybody else was doing fancy, shiny things. Went to the dungeon, worked my way up from that to the next job, to the next job. Opportunities only came because I was never concerned about the opportunity. I was concerned about doing the best I possibly can at the job at hand today. If you work with great people around you, people will notice, and those people will give you opportunities. No one's going to give you opportunities if you're not chopping wood every single day.
Why do you get out of bed every day? What gets you up in the morning? Because, I mean, you look at where you're at now, when you first started this journey here, what's getting you out of bed in the mornings now?
It's all the people that did stuff for me that I don't want to let down. My parents made all kinds of sacrifices. People in my life who invested in me. And when I say invested, I don't mean monetary investment. I mean time for coaching, time for hearing me vent when I needed to vent, time to like have a shoulder to lean on when I really needed it. The people that bet on me and gave me opportunities. I don't want to let those people down. I feel like it's my duty to show up in the best way possible, to try to repay all the people that helped me get here and pay it forward to many people who hopefully will pay it forward to others. It's a cycle of life. It never ends. And that's what motivates me every day. And more excitedly, I get out of bed every day because I think I can now do this for a lot of people at scale with the help of folks like yourself. We know what it's like. We know how hard it is. We know how to chop wood. You also know how to identify people that are like you. I see it in them. They're working hard. Okay, great. Let's give that person an opportunity. When nobody else would have given that person an opportunity. And those people go on to do amazing things. And selfishly, it's amazing. Selfishly, me sitting right next to you right now, it makes me so happy that you're here, that you're in this position. I genuinely mean that. Think about all the people that are working in crappy companies with bad leadership, with lack of resources, who feel like they're stuck and this is all they're ever going to become. Imagine if those people could see what we're doing. Imagine if those people could come here.
Oh,
Imagine what they could do. And now don't imagine, and you know we're going after all those people,
absolutely.
and we got to keep going.
What do you say to the guy or the girl, the woman or the man listening to these podcasts, and they're driving down the road? You know what it's like. You've experienced it. You've heard stories. They're struggling right now, and they're thinking to themselves, "Why?" or "What's this for?" What do you got to say to them?
Two things, and only two things. Number one, ask for help. Nobody cares that you're a Superman or Superwoman. Ask for help. We're all human. We're all people. We all have struggles. You're 10 times more likely to get out of the rut you're in if someone lends you a hand. Maybe it's multiple people lending you a hand. The second thing is you have to keep fighting. The moment you quit on the fight, you're gonna regret it the rest of your life. Don't go through life and think that like I could have become this. Go through life saying I'm going to become this because I'm gonna stay in the fight. Those are the two things. Get help, keep swinging.
What's that quote out there? It's the price. If you think the price of success is high, wait till you see the bill for regret.
Oh, it's terrible. Who hasn't lived it?
Yeah.
I've lived it.
It
There's
does.
nothing worse than waking up the next day and being like, oh my God, I wish I wouldn't have done that.
Absolutely. Hey, I appreciate your time. Taking time out of your busy schedule, coming here, sitting down with me, taking time to provide the resources and allowing this podcast to take off, choosing me, allowing the people to be a part of this. Thank you.
You're welcome. And at the same time, I want to say you don't have to thank me. I have to thank you and all the people that are out there working, that are out in the field, that are out in offices, that are out literally every day coming in, no matter what they have going on in their lives, no matter what's going on in the business. And never lose sight of that. I'm eternally grateful for that because the same way I believe in you, I'm willing to say you believe in me. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. And if you didn't believe in me, and if we didn't have trust, and if people don't believe in each other, none of this works. There's nothing more important than this. So I'm eternally grateful for that. I'm humbled. I feared many times, am I the right leader for this organization? Am I doing the best I possibly can for the teams? Am I creating an environment where I can trust and people can trust me back? And you give me that sense of feeling of comfort and confidence, honestly, to keep swinging every day. So thank you. I'm very grateful for you and for everything you're doing to be here today.
You've provided a way to know, or a thought. Let me get my words together here. You've allowed me and other people to know that you're not stuck in the field. Whether you're a helper, an apprentice, a mechanic, a chiller tech, there's so much opportunity out there, and you don't have to be stuck in the field. So again, that's what you and your team have provided, and it's great. And you're right, like we're just getting started.
I think about opportunity, and I haven't always had it. And now we're in a place where like we can create it. And it's like, why am I gonna live my fucking life the way everybody else does? Why are we going to run a company the way everyone else does? Like, oh yeah, people don't do this in this industry. Well, fuck them. We're going to be so much better than everyone else. Like, yeah, you can't fucking think big enough, dream big enough, like whatever. That's why I also picked you for this, because you actually know this from the day one. So many fucking people like can't dream big. They have limitations. They're like, limiting beliefs. I can't do that. I can't do this. What about this? Nobody does this in the industry. Who cares what anybody else does?
Shut the hell up.
Do you want to like play big or not? And so I knew when I called you, wild fucking idea, podcast. PJ, even wilder than I am. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, let's roll. He's going to roll with the punches.
Oh,
Many other people would have been like, what's the script? What's this? What's that?
fuck
What
that.
are the rules? What's other mechanical contract to do?
Figure
Who
it out.
cares?
Figure it out.
Dream big, swing for the fucking fence.
Yeah, I spoke with this lady today who I interviewed 2 weeks ago. So she came in, she did a little shadow with the dispatch, and I read her resume, and it talked about her previous company. Yeah, she did dispatch. However, she had on there cold calling and reactivating customer accounts. So when she came in, I asked her, tell me about that. So she came from the trucking business as a dispatcher. And when things were getting slow, she started looking at the customer base, took it upon herself. This wasn't her job.
Go get the client.
Yeah, go get
She
work.
started reaching out to them and then telling them some of the services that they're doing and the different types of things. And I'm like, fuck. So anyway, so she calls me today, actually this a little while ago, and she goes, hey, I'm getting ready to take this opportunity. I don't want to take this opportunity, and I don't want to be a pest. And she said, I just want to know where we're at with everything. And I said, well, hey, like I said last week, I have one more interview, and I don't like just interviewing one person. I learned a lesson the hard way. Get a couple interviews, because I only want to hire one time, right? Lifers, that's it.
Yes, and sometimes
But
I think priority one. We have 1,900 employees now.
Yeah.
Many of our people don't see it yet. I'm more concerned about them getting the message than new people getting the message.
yeah,
I'm very concerned about that person that's been working 60 plus hours a week for multiple months, for multiple years, and they don't quite see the light at the end of the tunnel. That's the person I want to hear this. That's the person I want to hear this. I had a conversation with someone last night, very early on, before everybody showed up, and you know who that someone is. I saw it in his eyes. I was like, this guy doesn't realize we know exactly who he is. And he doesn't realize that I actually know the backdrop to everything that's going on in his life without the details. But I understand the home challenges. I understand the business challenges. I understand the imposter syndrome challenges. That's the kind of guy. It's like, you need to believe there's a whole army of people behind this, like that really want you to win. I need to serve other people.
Yeah.
The moment you start thinking that way, you're like, well, wait, if this is for me, great. Like, I'm going to do A, B, and C.
Yeah.
When this is for someone else, you start thinking about, how does this person feel? How does this impact this person? I remember talking to this individual. I don't understand why anybody cares, whether the business was sold or not. And I looked at him, and we were sitting at this restaurant, I'll never forget, where he got married.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there, and my boss was also there, and they were both like, yeah, I don't understand when people are nervous. And you know how blunt I am. I'm like, because you guys have way too much fucking money.
Yeah.
You don't remember what it's like living paycheck to paycheck. I do. So when I look at a person in an office, and an accounts receivable specialist, and I look at this person, I'm like, I can see the fear in their eyes. It's because they have fucking 3 kids at home. They don't know if they get cut, if they can find another job. They don't know if anybody's gonna want them because they don't have a great resume. They have no idea what's gonna happen. Most people, it's all about themselves. It's the moment you walk into a Christmas party with one of our companies and you see all these people and their families and their kids and stuff, you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
The weight of the world is on our shoulders. We gotta keep these people happy. We gotta treat them like humans with empathy, because if they feel good when they go home, they're gonna be better mothers, fathers, sisters, husbands, whatever, right? And we got to keep them employed, and we got to pay them well so they can actually sustain those kids and those families. The moment you forget about that, this whole shit collapses. So I'll give you a crazy stat. Last year, 29 executive roles got filled with internal talent. 29. 29.
I like it.
Big number.
That was last year. This year's gonna
This year it could be bigger.
Yeah.
So when people say, like, I fear there's no opportunity, it's like, if you don't have fucking opportunity here, you're not going to have opportunity anywhere because it's up to you. Like,
Yeah.